Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at @AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have John Ragsdale on the line, and he's the president and founder and co-founder over at TAP Innovations. And John, this is a very special reunion 2020 episode. So this is John's second time on the show, and welcome to the show, John. Welcome back.
Awesome, Adam. Great to be here. Appreciate you inviting me back.
Man, it's been so much fun having the old podcast family and the podcast pals back on, and I was really excited when I saw your proposed topic today. So, handling and managing entrepreneurial business growth as a corporate executive. You are the guy that I'd want to talk to about that. So, I want to get into it, but before we do, I don't want to assume that all of our new listeners caught your first episode. So, let's just kick it off by you telling us a little bit more about what you're doing over at TAP Innovations, please.
Excellent. TAP Innovations is a SaaS technology and staff solutions provider. Our tagline is that we look for manual efforts and spreadsheets. And if you think about that acronym that spells MESS or mess, so we look for messes that grow or come out of gaps in between core business systems. So we don't replace the core business systems, but we blend in between, we integrate with, and we make those core systems better. So again, we look for messes, manual efforts, and spreadsheets, and we replace those messes with SaaS technology and staff solutions.
Where do you find? Well, I'll start off with this one. So, what are the right types of clients, niches, or sizes of companies that are right for TAP Innovations typically?
We typically focus on the small to medium businesses, the SMB market. They're typically underserved with technology, not familiar with how to really leverage technology to advance their businesses and grow their markets. So that's where we typically focus. We've built we have a pre-built foundation, so it's affordable, and so that's really where we target. We can bring some really amazing technology to help them win and grow in their markets.
So I think that's a great transition. Let's get into it. So today's topic, so managing entrepreneurial business growth for corporate executives. I mean, it ties hand in hand with what you're doing over at TAP. Where do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, I'll start first. Yeah, I'll tell you just a tad bit of background about myself. So I've been in IT about 25, 26 years. I've been a CIO here the last 10 or 11 years. So I've been in corporate America, been in healthcare, in a couple of different industries. I've been with small companies. I've been with large companies. So I've been a corporate executive for a while. I developed this solution, this idea for TAP as a CIO, and I actually built it for myself a couple of times, and then finally decided to build this as a company and provide these solutions and services to other companies. But it's really tough to get out on your own as a corporate executive if you've built a family and a lifestyle and all those things. And so this was in late 17 and 18. We built the software, still a CIO, so I had to figure out a way to partner with someone who could help build the software, yet do it cost effectively. We leveraged some global resources and that from our experience in the past. Went full-time in business this past year. In 2019, we had built up to a point where things were moving in the right direction, had a few beta customers, but I really needed to go full-time. So I took 6 months off of my career and really sat and figured out the marketing and sales patterns, right? Figured out our sales process. And, as I was mentioning to you before, who are we selling to? What are we going to sell? And really that was transformational to get TAP off the ground. We had a really successful fourth quarter. Now it took some time in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, but really had a successful fourth quarter. The challenge was one quarter does not make a business pattern, right? There was just, not enough quite there yet to support my lifestyle. So I was at at a juncture of, okay, what do I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I keep this going and survive at the same time? And so I had to find another job, another role, and I had to find additional resources to help TAP continue to grow. And so I spent November, December, and January really focused in that area. And I'll share with you that I was successful really with both of those. I found a new CIO role that I'm happy with, and I found a GM, a general manager, and a VP of sales for TAP that we could afford, and they started in early January. So I've spent after hours and weekends working to get them up to speed. And they're not going to be to the level that I was, right? The founder of the company is obviously going to be your best marketing and sales person, but they're really turning the corner. And again, I like my new role, and it's a balance. There's a lot of plates in the air, but super excited about what's come out of the last 4 or 5 months.
Man, that is exciting. And that statement that you said is so interesting about having the plates in the air and thinking about, having kind of balancing and moving your business forward, moving your career forward, moving all these things forward. I mean, I feel like that is the real challenge and the real place of a corporate executive now. Like, I feel like that's kind of the new norm. Like, you kind of have to do all these things. I mean, that's just been my impression. That's, by the way, my situation is pretty similar. I mean, and when I went full time as an entrepreneur, and when I started my business, like all these other things, like all the challenges, I feel like that's part of the deal, huh?
It is pretty common. In fact, I didn't realize how common it was until I jumped into that same boat, if you will, and I heard that same message that you just said. Hey, you know what? It's become pretty commonplace. I'll say, especially in the world of technology executives, it's almost expected, right, to have some entrepreneurial flavor or some expertise in that area. So it's been a lot of fun. It is challenging and it's time consuming. I think you've got to find the right people, and that's important. And I've really drawn from my past experience. In fact, my GM is someone who worked for me a year or so ago, and we've kept that relationship up, and he was excited about what I was doing. So if you can, bring in resources that you've worked with in the past and that you know and understand, and they know and understand you, that can be really helpful too.
So I want to talk a little bit more about, so I get that part of the journey, and I want to talk a little, to me, it's kind of like the perfect storm. It's, I guess you could say like this. So for, TAP, obviously you're helping small business owners, you're helping them with their IT, you're helping them with all these things in terms of scaling and otherwise, and it's like that's your product, and now you get to also use the product yourself as the company as you do it yourself, right?
That is true.
I think it's awesome because you have a different flavor, a different foresight as you start growing the business. So what kind of ways do you see, like, as you go forward, as you start adding staff, adding, more clients on, what are some of the things that you have in mind for your forecast in terms of planning and how you build it out?
Well, I'll mention it's a really challenging time with coronavirus going on. So we're all being challenged with thinking differently about, what does the future hold? What are the core needs, right? And if you look at TAP, yes, we have solutions. Yes, we have technology, but we're really not to sell a widget to someone. We're really out there to understand what their challenges are. What are their problems? Again, in our analogy, what are your manual efforts and spreadsheets and messes? And by the way, those exist in every organization, all sizes, even though we're focused on the SMB market. So we're really, I'm challenging my team to think about, hey, what are the current challenges? What are people working from home? How do people collaborate more? When they have a spreadsheet that they're trying to email back and forth. So we're looking for those messes and really trying to bring to the table solutions that can eliminate those. If you look at what we do, yes, it's some pre-built tools, but it does have a flavor of customization or configuration based on the current client issues.
What do you find as some of those like low hanging, and obviously it's going to change, right, based off of client, based off of the way they built their own, but based off what they're doing internally, size of company, how long they've been around. I mean, obviously there's a ton of variations. But what do you think are some of the low hanging fruit, like right now, that business owners out there should be considering in their processes?
Well, if they want to grow, I'll give you an example. One of our customers, we just ask. Again, it's a pretty standard question. Tell me about your manual efforts and spreadsheets. And they said, well, we're trying to grow our company, and we spend 8 hours a week going into this one system, and we run 3 extracts, and we pull that data into Excel. We go over here to QuickBooks, and we run an extract, and we try to combine that just to get a visibility into where our sales, marketing, and project management are, right? And they spend 8 hours a week doing that. And so, we hear that, and of course our wheels start turning. Mm-hmm. The solutions we come up with are not, I'll say, revolutionary. We're not creating the next iPhone, but we have the ability to leverage tools that a lot of people are using. We use some RPA, we use some ETL, we use some screens, our standard screens to capture data. But we come in a short period of time with this one particular organization. Within 2 or 3 weeks, we had integrated their core, I'll call it an ERP, but it had sales, marketing, and project management, as well as their financial system, again, small, medium business. And we'd integrated that and given them a visibility that, where they were getting data that was out of date, really wasn't accurate, we were updating that every hour, and so they instantly had it at their fingertips. So, we see that. I actually call that TAPS AI, and not artificial intelligence, but more actionable information. So the different, acronym, but it's actionable information that they have at their fingertips. They can make decisions with, whether it's, hey, I need to go into this new market, or hey, I need to shift, and we don't need to do this product, but we need to use this product, right? Especially in today's world, we give folks actionable information to do that.
Yeah, those shifts are just have to be so much faster now. There's no more waiting like for the, to the end of the quarter, or then it went to the end of the month and then the end of the week. Now it's like you're making decisions potentially depending on what business you're in daily. And if you're in advertising or marketing or MarTech or in any of those fields, you might be doing it hourly. Like, absolutely. It's so interesting how quick things are moving, and who knows, I'm not even going to get into the machine learning guys. I don't even want to deal with that part of the conversation, because who knows what they're doing. They're doing it as I'm talking. I don't know. I don't want to know.
It's out of control at a different level.
So, John, that being said, if somebody's listening to this, and first off, I can go on and on with this. I have 50 more questions for you, but we're about out of time. That being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on TAP Innovations or to connect, what's the best way for them to reach out?
The best place to go is to our webpage. It's www.tap, T-A-P as in Paul, I-N-N-O-V as in Victor.com. So tapinnov.com. We've got a wealth of information about TAP. We've got case studies. We've got some videos. We've got a lot of information there, and also ways to get in contact with us. I'll add one more thing. We've even got a brand new survey. We call it a mess assessment survey that you can go within 2 minutes and assess your mess, your manual efforts and spreadsheets, and we provide you a very dynamic report.
Man, that's awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show, and to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the comment section. I'd love to know what you're working on and what kind of projects you have going on. And thanks again for coming back on the show.